All right, this is HDFS 3310 with under instructor Zoe McCoy, Introduction to Child Life. This is a therapeutic play reflection video regarding a therapeutic play plan I have come up with. The play intervention I have come up with is medical house. Basically, children will, it's backwards, the words, but basically children will have a way to dress up dollies, any type of toys they necessarily come across, and they can create their own story, making their own family or their own characters, however they want, to go through to distract them from any kind of trauma that they may be experiencing in the hospital setting. The materials that are needed would be any type of first aid supplies. I know the words are backwards. Well, that could be gauze pads, rolled gauze, rubber bands, straws, tissue paper. Maybe they could use the tissue paper to put over Barbie dolls to simulate like a cloth, or make them make believe like they're scrubs. Some of the goals, reasons I would do this activity with kids so that it could take their mind off of the impending surgery or the impending trauma or the impending anything going on that's traumatic in their life, and give them a sense of security and playfulness. And also it gives the kids a chance to be very creative and to just really take their mind off of any type of grief or anxiety that's going on in their lives. It also gets them gives the children an opportunity to get used to the medical equipment that they may be using during their surgeries. Like, for instance, like an IV, they may get accustomed to how an IV will look, and they will describe the tube as a straw with medicine rather than just be given the tube and shocked through that traumatic experience of especially the poke and getting pricked. And if they've not had that done before, then they will experience trauma. So giving them these make-believe supplies and helping them guide them on what they are is a good way to get them situated. So what age groups? This would be like small children around 4 years old, 5 years old and under. They would greatly benefit from this, because once you get about 6 or 7, they tend to move on to, digital stuff. But this is for kids who are still playing with their hands and cognitively, and it allows them to create their own realizations of what's going on around them, rather than being thrown into it and unaware of what's really going to happen to them. Who did I do this activity with? I did this activity with my cousin's daughter, and she did it. She liked it a lot. She loved playing with the dolls. She has tons of toys, but she loved playing with the dolls. And I was explaining to her, this rubber band is kind of like the rubber band they'll put on your arm when they're going to give you an IV. And she was a little confused because she did not know what that was really to begin with. But she did appreciate that I was playing with her, and it was kind of cool to give her a peace of mind. And I really think I like that with the child life specialists in general, giving kids a peace of mind and giving them an introduction onto what the medical supplies are, and giving them information that they won't have otherwise. And she took it well. She did it well. I guess I could have improved a bit on the amount of supplies I had. I wish I had more supplies for her to play with, so I could tell her more about what's going to be on, like for the supplies and supply-wise. But if I had a house like this, this is called a nursing hospital. It's a picture I found. I assume she would have loved this, because it also would have had way more information, and for her to see more up close on what different things go on in a hospital and how she can play with it too. What was challenging about it? It is challenging to really convey to children what the medical supplies are, and to convey to them how to play with it, because they do have their own way of playing, and they don't typically think of medical supplies as something to play with. But when you have dollies and you can do stuff like this, it comes off as very natural for them to play with whatever they're given. What was it like to engage in this type of play, and what was the overall experience like for you? It was really nice and cool to educate a child about this type of information. It was very nice, and it was pleasant for me. I imagine if this was for a family who was going through something, whether it was a sibling of a child or a child that was undergoing surgery or what have it, they would greatly benefit from being more educated on the information that they're being given, and they would greatly appreciate it also, especially if they can't put into words on how to convey and explain that to their children about what's going to happen to them or their sibling. At least they can grasp a little bit of information on what is going on if you give them a little bit of information and a little bit of toys to really make their day. Overall, it was a great experience.